Recently, I got a question about the constraint management and manufacturing errors you might get in a DFM tool if you're doing PCB design. In this video, I'll show you exactly where to set a setting for your DFM constraints, why they're different from the rules and constraints you would set in your standard design rules or electrical rules in Altium Designer. Okay, you'll understand what is annular ring and what resources you can use to get more informed about design for manufacturing. Okay, so first of all, let's start with the most important thing. Companies want to hire you for a specific thing. That's DFM, whether it's design for excellence, design for manufacturing. And what are those? Okay, I'll get into that. If you're trying to get a job as a PCB designer and work in industry, make sure your boards are done right. You need to know specific things, okay? So let's navigate to a job from Tesla. They have their job description, and there's a lot of things they want you to do. They basically want you to be able to save the world. Just everything and their grandma. All right. So the Tesla circuit board layout team designs PCBs, so on and so forth, right? When you see in a job description that they want you to do PCB layout for industry, especially for a company like Tesla, Apple, Intel, whatever, it's implicitly understood that you know how to design for manufacturing, whether they state it or not, especially if they state DFX or DFM. DFX stands for Design for Excellence. DFM stands for Design for Manufacturing. Design for Excellence is basically design for manufacturing, design for assembly, design for fabrication, design for test, all that stuff. All of that matters. When they say a good understanding of IPC standards, materials, and stack-ups, they are talking about each of those separately, but IPC standards, they want IPC 2221. If you're not familiar with IPC 2221, it is the standard for acceptability of design for printed circuit boards. Within that standard, you're going to have this thing called annular ring, okay, and other things. They want you to optimize the design of PCBs with respect to PCB layout. That means they want you to have all your ducks in a row when it comes to manufacturing and mechanical issues. Okay, what kind of mechanical issues are we talking about? Oh, and they want you to utilize Altium Designer for PCB layout and schematic capture, including net classes and height. Maybe I should apply to this job actually. Hold on. Yeah, I've worked with 5. Yeah, I think I'm going to apply to this job. Okay. Oh yeah. Yeah. And I'll show you the process when I apply. I also like the AI part. Anyway, let's continue. So 6 gigahertz, not terrible. Let me show you what they're talking about. Just one small example of DFM. So when you submit your board to a manufacturer, see, they want you to be able to follow the rules when it comes to the IPC standards and your fabricator's rules. Design for fabrication is fabrication of the PCB, designing so that you allow the fabricator to have an easier time fabricating your board. Take case in point, Sierra Circuits. They are my top choice for manufacturing any PCB. But anyway, here they have this thing called the annular ring around any copper pad, any trace, any via or through hole that goes through the PCB. And the annular ring is the amount of copper that's around this hole. Okay, it's this ring here. And that needs to be a certain minimum width or thickness. This is just one example of how you design for fabrication. There are many things that can go wrong, as they highlight here, right? And in their DFM guide, definitely download it, it's free, okay? That's one of the things that can go wrong. In Altium Designer, you set that, where would you set that in Altium Designer? Typically, you're gonna find things like design rules, electrical clearance, blah, 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 blah. And to get here, you would go to your PCB, so part of your project, and design rules, okay? And people are used to setting your electrical with trace width, your routing, all that stuff. But what you need to do is go down to the manufacturing rules. I never see this, okay? People seem to, well, not never, but I don't see this often enough in a lot of guides. You go down here. This is where you set your annular ring, and you set it to whatever the manufacturer says it needs to be. So let's say it's 15 mils or 7.5 mils for the annular ring. You put 7.5 mils and do that, right? Altium will apply the appropriate millimeter depending on which units you're in accordingly. And then you set that for all of your, what objects does this apply to? Anything on your layers or vias, maybe you only want to apply it to vias or layer stack or drill pair, but all objects that have an annular ring. That's where you set that. There are other things for manufacturing. Okay, designing for manufacturing includes making sure that, again, that you are designing so it's easier to manufacture your PCB. This is what the companies are looking for. They want, do you have any traces at acute angles? We want to make sure we check for that. So you'd right click, set a new rule, say, hey, I want acute angle detection for a minimum angle of 60 degrees, right? Or 45, whatever. Just in case you have to use a fabricator that you still uses acid etching, and this would avoid traps. If they don't use acid etching, usually you don't have to worry about that as much. Things like hole size, layer pairs, hole-to-hole clearance. So that's what I wanted to show you. Annular ring is one of the most popular ones. There's like also creepage and clearance, but those are electrical rules. I just wanted to show you that. So go ahead, look at the capabilities and rules. This is what you're going to find on any PCB manufacturer, advanced circuits, Sierra circuits, and then you want to check their DFM guide, their handbook, where they explain annular rings, vias, trace width. The DFM rules, the design for manufacturing fabrication rules that are implicitly understood in these kinds of jobs, are different from the electrical rules you set in Altium. If you have questions, you know how to reach me, kirsch@hassofu.com or TechEdKirsch@gmail.com, whichever one. But if you're looking for corporate training on how to do PCBs correctly as in you're a corporation, reach out to me. We'll get your staff trained so that they can be PCB designers a lot faster in 30 days or 6 months. It really depends on how busy your team is, but essentially 60 hours of video training. Okay, we'll see you in the next video. Oh, and if you're trying to get Altium, then there's a link in the description below where you get a discount. So take advantage of that.